The following conversations are taken from our channel membership exclusive weekly live show that we do on Saturdays from 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time called Members Talk Live. Find out how you can become a member and appear on the show. All of the information is down in the description below, as well as all of the links to the channels of today's guests. Check them out, and I hope to talk with you very soon.
What I went and saw last night, which I'm doing my review for today, Thelma.
Ooh.
I've
I
been
want to see
hyping this
that.
movie. I've been hyping this movie up like low key, but in people's chats and stuff like that, and people's live streams. I went and saw that last night, and that is in my top 3 movies of the year. It is one of the best movies that I've seen in a long time. It's so funny, it's so well scripted, and it's so fun. It's about a 93-year-old lady who gets scammed. She gets scammed for like $10,000, and the way they do it is hilarious. Um, and she wants to get her money back. And her family's looking for her. Parker Posey's in this movie. Clark Gregg is in this movie as her kids. Um, and it June Squibb. People say I don't think I've ever seen her in anything, but she is fantastic. Actually, I think I read that she was nominated for an Oscar, like a few years back. As I don't know what movie it was, but this movie is perhaps one of the most fun movies that I've seen. It's really family oriented. It's really great. It has Richard Roundtree in it too. It's
Oh.
a great movie. I'm gonna I'm gonna shout from the mountaintops to people go see this movie. It's probably not gonna make any money. It's such a good movie.
Nice, man. You and I both saw some good things last night then, because I went and saw the Bike Riders last night.
I'm
I've
seeing
heard
that
good things about that.
I'm seeing that tonight with some family.
It's fantastic.
All right.
It's really, really good. I really liked it. Some people I can already hear are gonna probably say, I'm not that you're gonna say this, but there's definitely some people that's gonna come out and say it's slow, but it works for me. It worked really well for me. It's very much like kind of like a hangout movie, but also showing the bikers culture and all that, and kind of the dark side of it and all that kind of stuff. It was well done, and Tom Hardy was fantastic, and Austin Butler was great, and Jodie Comer almost stole the show. I thought she was phenomenal. Yeah, really, really good. But it's definitely going to be like a sleeper. It's definitely going to be I don't think it's going to make a lot of money in the theater. Although I will say I went to see the Bike Riders last night, and there was a guy in the theater, bless him, but he was watching a different movie than I was watching. Like, like I was there. I was watching a serious drama. He was watching like a 5-star comedy. I don't know what it was. I don't know if he was on something. I don't know if he was just loving life. If he hadn't been to the theater in a long time, he was just going to enjoy whatever it was that he was there to watch. But there were moments where I was like, "This is heavy," and he thought that the best joke in the world had just happened. And I just hear him at the end of the aisle.
Maybe it was like Tom Hardy's voice, because he's like,
Maybe.
"Hey, I was
It might have been.
Bugs Bunny if I was a Mabbenfusser."
Yeah. No, there's a couple moments where it is intentionally funny, and there are some actually really funny lines and some things said. But there's also some moments where I'm like, "Oh, this is getting dark." And then this guy at the other end just and I'm like, "All right, you know what? I'm glad you're having fun."
At my theater, like I go see movies usually Thursday. I usually try to see them before they come out Friday, Saturday to try to get a review out before, the weekend. And there's this father and son that, the father carries the oxygen tank, like he's rolling the oxygen tank, and his son
Okay.
is with him.
Mm.
And I see them almost every other week. Like they go see no movies just like me. And sometimes we're in the same, and the son is the loudest laugher. He is so loud, like it's so uncomfortably, like he's so loud when he laughs during these movies. And there's some scenes that are funny and some scenes that are not, like you said, like you think that he just heard the funniest joke in the world, and the theater would laugh because he laughed so loud. It's like, man, it's so funny. And I've never spoke to these two people, but we've got like we're going to see the same movies because I'm every week, like every other week they're there. But I know that they pretty much go to every movie because they've gone to see some obscure movies that I wouldn't go see too. that I've seen too, and I just think it's hilarious. No one, I think it's cool that father and son get to they get to spend
really
some
awesome.
time together.
Yeah.
But this guy is such. I mean, he's in his 30s. He's not a kid, but he laughs so loud, like he's just living life. So I respect it. At first, it annoyed me. Like the first movie, I was just like, "Come on, this guy! Like you're laughing way too loud. You're killing the movie." But then after like weeks and weeks of just seeing him at the same, like we're going to see the same movie, and it's just like, all right, man, live your life.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
That's a fun conversation. Who are you at the theater? Like, are you a stereotyped character at the theater? Because for me, like you bring that up, I am definitely the laugher. Like, especially if I'm at a comedy or something funny's happening. Like, oh my goodness, prepare for Deadpool and Wolverine, people, because I'm going to be in there. I don't care who's like, I might as well be the only person in the auditorium sometimes. I will laugh. Like, I just let myself loose. I just let it happen. Sometimes I can hear that I'm the only one laughing. Sometimes I know for a fact the only laugh in this auditorium is mine. And I'm fine with it because I'm just having a great time. I'm having fun. But I've had people, I've gone to the theaters with people, and I've had them like after the movie come out and be like, dude, you laugh loud. Like you're a loud laugher. Like sometimes even during the movie when I go with my brother and something funny is happening or something that I think is funny, because sometimes my sense of humor is just kind of off kilter and I'm laughing out loud, my brother will look at me and be like, dude, like what the heck? Like quiet down. So I am definitely the loud laugher in a theater. Are you guys any kind of stereotypical theater character when you go?
I'm the clapper when it comes, not the slow clap at the end of the movie, like everybody's getting off the tongue like that. But during epic moments, bro, I will be like, let's go, because you got to give appreciation. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, when Andrew saved MJ, I was clapping. Like stuff like that. I have no problem showing how excited I am by just doing a little clap, and other people get involved, and I got no problem if I'm the only one clapping. It is.
Yeah, you're like the hype man. You're the hype man.
Exactly.
I don't think I'm a loud laugher, but I'm pretty sure I am. I remember going to see which Star Wars was it where Mace Windu got his arms cut off? Was that Revenge of the Sith?
Three.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So when that happened in the theater, I was for sure the only person who laughed out loud because Samuel Jackson just started yelling. And I think that's funny. Anytime Samuel Jackson starts yelling, he got his arm covered. He's like, and he's falling down, just yelling. And I laughed so loud because it was so funny to me. And everybody I could sense the judgment of people just like, why is this guy laughing so loud? Like, what's so funny about that? Dude, it's Sam Jackson. Like if you
So you guys talked about like good experiences. So what are bad experiences that you guys, not necessarily saying bad experiences, but what's something that would like kind of ruin your theater experience if you were there? Like for me, I think it would definitely be like, because at a certain, like I'm all for people trying to go out and you bringing babies in there when the little kids are there. It's kind of like sometimes it can get a little bit too much in my experience, and that's it for me. What do you guys think was like a bad experience for you guys?
Arguably the best and simultaneously worst experience was when I went to go see Joker in 2019, because how you were saying like the whole it's watching two separate movies, like I don't know. There were just certain moments in the movie with Joker. Like, when the little Irish short guy is in Joker's apartment and he's like desperately trying to get out.
Yes.
And I remember watching that terrified out of my pants, like, oh my God, he's going to die. And everyone's just laughing. I was like, what's wrong with you people?
I was laughing. That is the funniest.
I was
one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in my life.
I did laugh. It was so sadistic.
Yeah,
because I didn't think that they were going to kill that little guy. I literally thought it was for comedic purposes. So I was like, okay, I think I'm going to laugh. But then if they kill him, I'll be like, oh well, that didn't go so well.
A definitively terrible experience. Venom 2. Aside from Venom 2. There was like a whole row of like 10-year-olds watching the movie. It must have been for like a birthday party or something.
Wow.
They would not shut up.
Yeah.
And
that is my thing. Kids, teenagers that just do not stop talking. That is the thing for me that I'm just like, you can bring a baby, that's fine. You can bring a hostage, that's fine. Just I don't care what you're doing. You can just keep to yourself, and that's okay. But if you're sitting next to me and you're just like talking over the movie to the point where I can like you're like cutting into the audio of the movie and taking me out of the experience.
So anyway, last night I just rolled over in bed and I asked him, I said, Raimundo, did you sleep with her? And he's all, oh, I swear, baby, I never touched her. I know she's your sister, but she's a lying whore.
That drives me freaking insane. I can't handle that at all.
Yeah, or people that treat it like it's their house or whatever. I actually walked into a theater and somebody had their shoes off.
Why the hell did you take your shoes off?
Oh, that's
no.
People that just treat it like it's their house and stuff like that. Like when you're on your phone, it's one thing, like just to look at your phone real quick. But people that stay on their phone, especially in a dark theater, it illuminates that whole area. It's like, you know, have a little bit better courtesy.
Yeah.
But those are the kind of things that kind of eke me.
I have two distinct, when you guys were talking about terrible movie experiences, I have two distinct movie experiences that pop in my mind, and both of them happened out of country. So the first one, I was in Qatar, and I was in Qatar. I was over there for a year, and every Sunday I would take my platoon. We would go to this huge mall in Qatar. It's a beautiful mall. I mean, like y'all don't know money like Qataris know money. Like they have big money, and they have this huge IMAX theater. And every Sunday, I'm a moviegoer, so I was like, yo, I gotta go see my movies. Either y'all get in this van with me, or y'all stay on base. So we go, and we went and saw. I don't think it was a Winter Soldier, because Winter Soldier was another funny moment. But we went and saw another movie, and this time it was generally when we took the female soldiers with us, they wouldn't go to the movies with us. They would go see, they would go shop in the mall, and we would go to the movies, or at least I would go to the movies. But there were these two Qatari kids, and they were talking. So one, they're speaking in a totally different language, but they were just loud. Like their parents dropped them off at the theater, and this was like they don't have R-rated movies in Qatar. Like they edit out kissing scenes, they edit out everything. Like there's nothing that anybody can't see. Like everybody can go see every single movie. They edit everything out. They'll edit any nudity. They'll edit any kissing itself. I want to say this was Step Up. It was one of the Step Up movies because for some reason those are huge, and I actually love them. But the kids were talking and they were dancing. This how I know it was definitely Step Up. And I think it was Step Up 3D or something like that. Like one of the ones where Moose was dancing, and like one of my favorite characters. But these kids kept talking, and I'll never forget this female soldier. Like these kids, one, they're all rich, so they don't care. Everybody's beneath them. Like if you wear a white robe, I can't remember exactly what the man dress is called in Qatar, but if you wear that means that you have money. Like you don't wear the white garb unless you have money. And these kids both were wearing that, and they were just talking the whole time. They're laughing, they're running through the theater and stuff like that. Like I've never seen nothing like that before, because their parents literally dropped them off. And this girl was like, "Hey, y'all need to shut up." And they just looked at her for like 2 seconds. They shut up, and then they just kept going. It was like I wanted to get up and leave. I was really upset. That was a terrible, terrible movie going experience. And the second one, hilarious. So I'm in Germany, and I went on this date with a girl, and we went to like this beautiful cave, but it was the summertime. It was hot as shit outside. What do you do in the summertime when it's really hot outside and you have nothing else to do and you don't really know where to go? Because I'm in foreign country. So we're like, hey, let's go on base and go to a movie. Cool. We go on base, and there were 3 movies showing, but at that time only one movie was showing, and it was Twilight Part 2, whichever one that was.
New Moon.
So we go into this theater, and I'm like, I hadn't seen Part 1. I really didn't know what was going on, but I was like, hey, we're gonna go inside the theater and it's gonna be cool. Well, we went inside the theater and it wasn't cool. The AC was broken, so it was hot inside the theater. And I was like, yo, this is not cool. But the sun was outside, so I was like, all right, at least we're inside where there's no sun and there's a little bit of airflow. And we watched this Twilight movie, and there was nothing but teenage girls in there. And every time that Jacob got on the screen, it was like, oh, I could hear them behind me. Just
awkward.
Super awkward. And like every time Ed was on the screen, like it was it
They're
was
just
funny.
having
Like
their
we was,
sexual awakenings right there with you there, and you're just
yes,
like, oh boy.
yes.
There are some things that transcend the language barrier, huh?
Yeah, no, this is a U.S. This is a military base, so everybody
Oh.
like they were American girls, I assume,
Ah,
but like they would just, oh man, every scene that Edward was in, every scene that Jacob was in, these girls were just oohing and awing, and I thought it was hilarious. And me and the girl I was on date, we're both in our like, I was in my 30s, yeah, we both in our 30s, so we're like, we don't want to be here, but we also don't want to go outside. Like it was like we're gonna like one, we paid our money, we're gonna stay and watch this movie, and it was terrible, by the way. I'm not a big fan of Twilight at all, but that was just a funny, awkward, terrible experience because they kept talking, they were clapping and all this other stuff, and I'm like, what are y'all clapping for? This movie is terrible. Like, what is happening right now?
I
They
had
loved it.
I had my Twilight phase when I was into Twilight, and I went and saw Breaking Dawn Part 1 with my mom because she
oh
took
boy.
me. I orchestrated it though. I was like, I wanted to see it, and at the time I needed someone to take me to the theater to see movies. So I was in middle school, and I was like, I'm pretty sure if I get my mom into Twilight, she'll take me on her own. So I like orchestrated it. I was like, hey mom, let me show you these new movies, and I watched all the Twilight movies with her. And of course, she got hooked. And then sure enough, she showed up. She's like, we got tickets. We're going tonight. So I was like, yes. But we went to Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1, and I remember sitting there. How old am I? 12 or 13. I'm somewhere around there. And I'm sitting there next to what I assume at the time is a 40-year-old woman. That's what I'm assuming that was the age. And the first scene of the movie is like Jacob gets the wedding invitation to Bella and Edward's wedding, and he comes out of the house and he rips off his shirt and he just runs shirtless, right? And this like 40-year-old woman next to me, I'll never forget it. She sits there and she's watching the screen and she just goes, "Oh Lord, save me." I was sitting there.
They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. I'm sure there was a clause in his contract that he had to have his shirt off
Probably.
a certain amount of time, just like with Chris Hemsworth and Thor. They look for
Oh,
any
yeah.
opportunity to get his shirt
For
off,
sure.
stuff like that. You got to get the ladies, or you got to get the ladies going. That's what happens.
Yeah, but 12 or 13 years old, I don't want to be next to the lady who gets going. You know what I mean?
A 40-year-old lady.
Hey, it could have been worse. You could have been in 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Or-
Well, that was
I
also
mean,
my
that-
first time in a Twilight like audience, right? And I remember
Yeah.
sitting there, and I was like, I wasn't like ashamed to be there, but I remember looking around and being like I am out of place. Like this,
Yeah.
like I am a 13-year-old kid with my mom, and the rest of them are like these 40-year-old, 30-year-old women, 20-year-olds, high school girls in groups, and I was just the guy with my mom, and then
Yeah.
the rest were guys with their girlfriends, and I was
Hey,
like,
at least
yeah,
you
one of
had
these
your
things got
mom.
together.
I was when I went to the Barbie film last year, I think I genuinely think I might have been the only guy in the auditorium.
That's
And
good
it
for
was
you.
and I was like, okay. This is new.
Hey,
I-
it can't be any worse than I forget what movie I saw a long time ago before my late grandma was still around. Me and her went to a movie, and it was kind of just like one of those daytime like things. Let's just go out. I was off work, and one of the movies had like a sex scene in it. So imagine watching a movie with a sex scene with your grandma. I'm just like, I'm looking at the screen and I'm like kind of looking away. I'm just like, let me act like I'm not watching it, but it's just so awkward whenever you go there with parents and people that are elderly.
Maybe you
Oh,
should have
man.
gone to see it in guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So how long is like Deadpool and guitar? Like 5 minutes? Like, like
Bro, I don't even know if they play it there. Like I definitely didn't see any of the Deadpool. I would not have gone to the theater to watch Deadpool and Qatar because they really do censor everything. Like if it's any religious jokes or anything in the movie that might offend, the Muslim culture, they will definitely edit it out. Which I thought was weird because like the scene in Step Up where Moose and his girlfriend kiss, or some girl kissed Moose in I think this is like Step Up 3 or 4. I can't remember which one it was. But then I vividly remember them editing that part out because it just like cuts to another part. And I was like, there's no way they poorly edited this movie this bad. I was in my mind, I was like, man, this is so poorly edited. It was like, man, like there's no way they just jump cut like from this one scene to like 2 scenes later. I was like, no way they did that.
Yeah,
Now
what
I
was
kind of want to see a guitar cut from like Deadpool and Wolverine just to see how short it actually is. If someone can make that and put it on the internet, I'd like to see that, just see how much time it really is.
Yeah,
Man.
that reminds me of Oppenheimer, because like for Indian audiences, I think it was in India they did it, not the American team, but in India, like they tried to awkwardly CGI a black silk dress over Florence Pugh for
I
nude
saw that. Yep.
scenes. And I've seen some of the footage. It's like, if you don't know what to look for and you haven't seen the original footage, it's not terrible, but yeah, it is pretty noticeable.
Trailer Piece by Piece. Have you guys seen that?
Oh
No.
yeah,
The
I've seen
Pharrell
it.
Williams
Is that Pharrell
biopic?
Williams?
Yep, the
Mhm,
Pharrell
yeah.
Williams biopic that's going to be in Lego format. One,
Oh, that's
I'm excited
crazy.
to see that. That's if you haven't seen it, check the trailer out. I'm gonna tell you this: me living
Where
in
is that?
Virginia, it's on the homepage, just under movie trailers. But it's coming out this summer. It's coming out this fall. Pharrell Williams, me living in Virginia, is huge here, so I imagine everybody's gonna go see it. But I think it's a very creative like movie because they're telling the life of Pharrell Williams, who's been huge here. You know, he went through a tough childhood where he was kind of telling people like, look, I'm gonna be something, and people doubted him. He had a lot of doubters in this area, but Biopic, which is pretty much going to be portrayed through Legos, and it's got a great cast of a lot of celebrities like Kendrick Lamar, Timberland, Snoop Dogg, Justin Timberlake, Busta Rhymes, Jay-Z, like everybody that I'm sure he's ever worked with is going to be in this
Yeah.
movie, and I'm excited for that. I think it's very creative.
That's crazy. I heard about it, but I didn't know it was a biopic. That's awesome. Actually, that's a great.
Oh, here it
Pharrell's
is.
just
Okay.
different. He's such a
Yep.
different person, man. Like he does everything at his own beat, which is really respectful.
Which is great. You need outside the box thinkers like that, and he does it. He's not afraid to go there. And I imagine that this is going to be for like I said, for my area, it's going to be crazy to get tickets for that because he's from here. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of
All
course.
So it says
And-
Focus Features has premiered the trailer for Piece by Piece, an animated Lego film and biopic of musician Pharrell Williams. It's a film they dub a one-of-a-kind cinematic experience told through the lens of Lego animation. The studio says to turn up the volume on your imagination and witness the evolution of one of music's most innovative minds. They add that Williams was uninterested in making a traditional film about his life, and Pharrell set out to tell his story in a way that would set audiences' imaginations free. The film boasts not just Williams himself, but other world-famous musicians such as Gwen Stefani, Kendrick Lamar, Timbaland, Justin Timberlake, Busta Rhymes, Jay-Z, and Snoop Dogg. While it's the fifth theatrical Lego film, it's the first at Universal following the end of Warner Brothers Pictures' run of the film series. Williams also serves as a producer on the film, which has Morgan Neville directing and producing. Piece by Piece will make its way into theaters October 11th. Wow, okay. That is really unique and interesting.
That's awesome. I'm there for that. Like,
can you play
it
the
doesn't even
trailer?
have to be
Yeah,
big.
do you want to see if we can play the trailer?
Oh yeah, of course.
We'll give it a go.
Right on the set. Hey, Pharrell. Hey, how you doing, man? You know, it'd be cool is if we told my story with Lego pieces. Seriously? Yes. Lego. Just be open.
He must be voicing it, right?
When
I think
was
he
a
is.
kid, I knew
They're
I
all
was
voicing
different.
themselves.
And people would say, oh, that's an odd child. And that crushed my spirit.
Oh,
I
this looks
love
really
music.
cute.
It was mesmerizing to me. I would see beautiful hues of light cascading. I just thought that's what all black kids did, stared into the speaker like, whoa. Music was just coming out of me. I need to show the world what I can do. Hi, Pharrell. I need help on this rap. Yes, sir. It's pretty simple. Just let it bounce. He just went in the room and freestyled it. It's Teddy. Ready with the 1-2 check. All I cared about was making my own music. But people just said, no, I wasn't ready.
I love this. So unique.
Okay.
This song is ridiculous.
Who did that? Pharrell.
Pharrell.
Wow.
It's going to be interesting to
My
see
imagination would
what is
run super
scripted
wild.
and what's real.
Dun, 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 dun. Drop it like it's hot. I was always a bad gangster, but
that
you
Snoop
brought out a
Dogg?
smile.
Mm-hmm.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
that's Snoop Dogg.
Oh wow, I love Snoop Dogg's tall. So
I just want to
figure.
That
I want
feels
to see
great.
what weed looks like in Lego. I want to.
I firmly believe that everybody has talent, beauty, and potential. Keep open our eyes to a whole different perspective.
Thank you, if you know what happiness is to you.
Woo! Holy moly, guacamole. Legendary story, yeah.
Wow.
So dope.
Jan. Wow. Man, this is gonna be a Lego movie, bro.
And new music. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
fine with that.
man,
I think
Okay.
it's gonna be dope.
That looks great.
that looked amazing. Like the
Very
fact
creative.
that
Lots
we're
of words.
getting something like this, yeah, like because
Yeah.
like I don't think when people say things like representation and woke and stuff like that, this movie wouldn't have happened 40 years ago. This movie wouldn't have happened 30 years ago. Like
Yeah.
the fact that you have a black artist big enough to make a movie that's experimental, right? Like, yeah, Straight Outta Compton, like these very Bob Marley, One Love, like these very one-dimensional, one-note biopics, right? That the Tupac All Eyes on Me, like these very uninteresting biopics that people go see because they love the artist. Like, and I'm not the biggest Pharrell fan, but like Pharrell, like if just listening to the trailer, he made some of the biggest songs, Happy, Drop It Like It's Hot, like all of these great Rockstar, like all of these great iconic songs, and then they're doing it in a Lego movie. Like that, to me, that's just that's unfathomable 10, 15, 20 years ago to have something like that to be done so differently, so experimental. Like it just shows we've come a long way in the movie space. And like just me as a father of two young black kids who get to see something like this, like, yo, I'm not weird. I'm not a weirdo. I could actually do this. And that's what Pharrell's talking about. Like he's talking about him growing up in VA. People would call him that weird kid. Oh, that's the music kid. And I've seen those kids who grew up to be big things. Like I've seen some of that stuff in New York where like it's the weird kid and like nah, he's left-brained, as they say. Like he has that artistic thing in him that has to come out. And that's just dope to me. Like I'm all in, and I'm probably definitely gonna take my kids to go see this because this is definitely something that I think the kids should see, to just see like you're not weird. You are who you are, and you could do so many different things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this movie seems like it's something for everybody. It has the hip hop for the older generation, introducing the young kids to that type of music, especially with how things come full circle. You see a lot of the younger generation going back and sampling old music and, trying to relive that and stuff like that. But I'm all there with you as far as, Pharrell around this area, growing up, he's a little bit older than I am, was known as like the weird kid. Like there were stories around the area that he would go around like passing his autograph around and be like, I'm gonna be famous one day, and people would just like laugh at him and stuff like that. I bet you they wish they had those autographs still now. Because,
seriously,
because he's such a creative mind, and like you said, it's okay to be an out of the box thinker. For all those kids that feel like they're weird and can't accomplish anything, there's so many stories of like Pharrell that put people on the map, and Pharrell's one of the big reasons why Virginia is a music capital. Like Timberland's from here as well. Like Justin Timberlake came over here, recorded his whole entire first album here. Jay-Z loves it here. Like Virginia is a big mecca, and Pharrell introduced the Clips as well. Like they're big artists, Pusha T, all that stuff. So your influence definitely, no matter how weird you think you are as a kid, you could definitely influence people if you just be yourself.
That's awesome. Yeah, it looks like the message of the movie as well. I love this for a couple of reasons. I love the uniqueness of telling a biopic in this way. I think that's like really inventive, like they were saying. And I also love it because I love the Lego movies. I never saw Lego Ninjago, but I love Lego Movie. I love Lego Batman. Lego Movie Part 2 is okay, but they're so fun, and I've been kind of wondering like where they have gone, like where they went. Like I know that Lego Movie Part 2 didn't do nearly as well as the first one, and Lego Batman kind of took a little bit of a hit in the box office as well compared to the first one. So I was kind of worried that like they were just going to stop making these cinematic Lego movies, but the fact that they're doing one and they're doing it in this way and it still looks like it has the Lego movies humor in it, I love that. I loved everything about that trailer. That was the only thing I didn't love about that trailer was how much music there was, because this might get copyrighted now. But other than that, I really love that trailer.
Yeah, I remember seeing the original Lego movie in 2014. And I remember it got like a little not sure if you can see it, but it's like a little tiny Lego figure. And
how did you have that ready? We didn't plan any of this.
Oh, it was just on the it's on the nerd wall. Yeah, and it can turn into like a little Lego brick.
Nice.
And everything. Ta-da.
Nice.
Legos are definitely like popular. Like Legoland is somewhere I want to go. It's on the list of places to go. I got to get myself some kids so I could just bring, so I could have a reason to go. Like, oh, you're here with your kids. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yep.
Those are huge in Europe. I kicked myself for not going when I was in Germany, because they have one in Germany and it's huge. Like it's really big.
I'm surprised they don't have one in Denmark. Do they have one in Denmark?
That I don't know. I didn't live. They probably do. They for sure. Oh, yeah, they probably do. Because they're big in Europe. Like Legoland, like Six Flags here is like Legoland in Europe. Like they just like there's multiple, because I know there's one I think there's one in the UK, but there's definitely one in Germany. And everybody would always say they were going. I was like, nah, I don't want to, because like I said, I didn't have kids at the time. And like I didn't want to be the weird tall black guy walking around Legoland scaring people. Like just
but nowadays it's everybody goes just because.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So.
Yeah, I was never a huge Lego kid. My brother definitely was. But I've never really had any interest in Legoland and anything like that. But it sounds cool from what you guys are saying. It sounds pretty awesome. How about you, Ryan? What did you think of the trailer?
I thought it looked good. I love the potential for visual storytelling. Again, I like Lego Movie 1 and Part 2. I love the Lego Batman movie, but I feel like piece by piece, it looks like the most visually creative in terms of visual storytelling. Because again, nothing against the Lego Movie, but the visuals are kind of for visual sake, and they're amazing visuals. They're well told, but like they don't think outside the box nearly as much as Piece by Piece seems to, like with the little bubble on the head and Snoop Dogg turning into a dog. Like it's the little things and just the stylized imagery to be had.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, that's definitely that jumped up to my anticipated for October, because I haven't really been paying too much attention to what's in October, but I'm definitely paying attention to that now. I don't know how that slipped past me. Thanks for bringing that up, Ace.
I've heard of it, but it because I thought it was a documentary. Like I thought it was like a Lego documentary. I thought like it was like piece by piece. That sounds like something that would just be a documentary on like making Legos. And I was like, and then I heard Pharrell was involved. I was like, okay, he's doing the music. I mean, that'll get people involved. Like, I mean, Happy is a huge song, and I was like, all right, well, Pharrell does soundtracks, because he does the soundtracks to all the Despicable Me movies. So like, all right, that makes sense. It's kind of on brand. I didn't know it was a Pharrell biopic. It really does blow my mind, the fact that he's doing something this creative, and it just speaks to his creative, man. I mean, he is a musical genius, and he might be a artistic, visual genius as well, because that looks great. Like the colors, everything just kind of popped off the screen on that trailer.
Yeah. The one thing I'm excited about though is like there's definitely gonna be a couple songs that they talk about that like, wow, I didn't know he was involved in that. Like that's what's cool about music and stuff like that. But like you guys were saying about, well, to Ryan's point, with Lego movies and like just animation in general, you can go there. You can go over the top where it's like doesn't take you out of it like live action movies do. So you can do it. You can go as crazy as you want to, because at the end of the day, they're Lego pieces.
So true. So true. I hope it does well, honestly, because I don't know if I want to see it necessarily start a trend, but I could definitely see it like
like
other people taking this idea if it does really well and doing like I'd be really cool, like not just musical documentaries, but like telling like historical documentaries or telling like historical stories through Lego and stuff like that. Like that, it'd be kind of cool if this started something different in that way.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
do.
super.
They do to it like not historical, but like the Lego. I don't know if you guys played the Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Star Wars, like all of those.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of, like they've been doing it. They don't do it theatrically, but they've had like Lego movies, like Lego Star Wars movies and stuff like that. Like go
Yep.
straight to streaming or straight
I've
to
watched a couple on
DVD.
Disney Plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're cute movies. Like they're just not theatrical. Like I think Lego, like they really have their niche, and it's really funny. Like they're all well done. Like I said,
Yeah.
the Lego movie itself was something special. I did not see that coming. Didn't go see that in the theater because I was like, honestly, I thought of Pixels when it came out. I was like, all right, I don't
Oh,
want this to
yeah.
be that.
Yeah,
You know,
you don't want to think about
Yeah.
that movie.
That was terrible. That was terrible.
Yeah.
yeah, like so I was like, but it was the Lego Batman was great too. Like Lego Movie 2
Batman
was
was great.
okay,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
it was okay only because it wasn't as good as the first Lego movie. Because that one I really hold in high regard because it's such a great, well done movie. And Chris was it Phil Lord and Chris Miller? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Phil Lord,
Those
Chris
guys,
Miller,
those
yeah.
guys are genius. They're geniuses. Like if anybody's going to write the Sony Spider-Verse, apparently they're somewhat attached to that. I'm hearing like they're attached to I
Yeah,
think,
the
like
They're-
television side is what I've heard. The live action
Yeah.
television side
Yeah.
well,
of
they need to
things,
take
they're
over
in
all of
charge
it.
Yeah.
they need
Yeah.
to take over all of it. They did look what they did with the Spider-Verse, you know, like they need to take over everything Sony does, and hopefully it'll be good because everything else that Sony's done other than the Spider-Verse has been terrible.
Yeah, for
But-
sure. Well, do we
so-
buy or sell piece by piece?
I'm with
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
For sure. See,
I like
two
how,
thumbs
like how
up.
T
You got
has
that
it.
thumbs
there
up
you go.
again there,
you
T.
go.
Yeah, got that.
All
But
right.
since T had mentioned Lego stuff like that, Lego Star Wars stuff like that, you could use some of that to retcon some of the theories, like Darth Jar Jar's real now because of the Lego Star Wars. So that's what a lot of people have been wanting.
Yeah.
So he's real.
You can find me on YouTube and Letterboxd at Movie Reviews with Ryan Lane.
You can find me at the Ace Avenue, DAACE Avenue, for your sports, movies, and more.
Well, you can definitely find me at Have You Seen That with T, the YouTube channel, and Have You Seen That on Letterboxd. I should be dropping my Thelma review. Definitely go check out Thelma. I'm going to keep shouting that out. Just like I'm going to start shouting out piece by piece to get more people to the theater and hopefully see these movies. But yeah, that Thelma review should be coming soon.
Excellent. And I'm right here. Just hit subscribe and you found me. You're good to go. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for being members and for hanging out. And thank all you guys for joining us. We'll see you again next time. Take care.